Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is a response to DStyle. We're going to respond to DStyle's video that was put in the Hangouts by Get the Smoke concerning Pacquiao being called the greatest of all time. Now, first of all, he ain't going to ever be the greatest of all time, only for one reason. Muhammad Ali's the greatest of all time. So that moniker is being used. So anybody saying, well, Pacquiao's taking over that moniker, that's kind of stupid. You should get another moniker. So that's branded already. Muhammad Ali is what he is. That's just what that is. So I would never call Pacquiao the greatest of all time. That's being that's riding another man's wave, if you want to call it that. It's kind of like ripping off another man's wave. However, he does have contention, in my opinion, to being called the greatest of all time. No doubt about that. But DStyle and Haplotype, they had their little discussion, and they were going on about some of these old greats, and that Pacquiao's not in that conversation, not even the top 20. And they're talking about the modern day people and how that's wrong. And DStyle's argument is this. So the reasons why Pacquiao is considered by mainstream media as the greatest of all time, or one to be considered in that equation, is because 1, 8-division world champion. 2, fought some of the best of his era. 3, in the twilight of his career, he's taking on these young, hungry lions and champions, and he's been beating them. There's probably other things, such as Manny Pacquiao having sensational wins, crowd pleaser, etc. So DStyle decided to present these things and see what Haplotype would say. Now, Haplotype said quite clearly that he didn't think Pacquiao was in the top 20. And he went on to, top 10, sorry. And he went on to mention his top 10, which includes Sugar Ray Robinson was the first one. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show these guys an argument for why they're wrong. And why Pacquiao can easily be called the greatest if people want to call him that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to debunk DStyle and Haplotype at this time. And the reason being that you need to give the current fighters today their props. DStyle, Haplotype, Alright. So, Haplotype said Sugar Ray Robinson was at the top of the list. Then he mentioned some other names like Benny Leonard, Sam Langford, Barbados, Joe Walcott, Joe Gans, Muhammad Ali, Harry Greb comes up. And you know what's so fucking stupid about talking about Harry Greb? None of these motherfuckers have seen Harry Greb box. There's no footage of him. Let's keep it going. And some other names. Alright. So let's get into what DStyle said. DStyle said, first of all, the dispute over Manny Pacquiao being an 8-divisional world champion, where they say that, the two lineal titleists that he beat didn't have world championship, is a minor one. The more important thing is that there are more weight classes and more weight divisions today than yesteryear, and 2, that there are more world champions today than yesteryear. And he exaggerated it by saying that the shout out Tommy Temper. I wanted to come on your hangout. I was supposed to go on and do some rounds, but I have to stay kind of grounded because there's a guy here working. But anyway, let me just continue. Well, I'm gonna address your question just now, Tommy Temper. He goes on to say that there are more world champions today because there are more sanctioning bodies. Now, he's saying therefore when Manny Pacquiao beat these guys, there's a lot more of them who could become world champion. That don't mean the standard is high. He goes on to talk about Sugar Ray Robinson, that there was one. Sugar Ray Robinson was a small middleweight. That he was fighting these bigger guys, sometimes 15 pounds heavier than him, and doing well. Shout out Boxing Junkie. What's up, man? So Tommy Temper, first of all, you ask a question. I'm going to continue my argument, but first, Tommy Temper says, does Manny have the best resume of any current active fighter today? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. He has the best resume. The Boxing Junkie, what up, G? The Boxing Junkie, I see you up there, Tommy. And the Boxing Junkie says, he's just chilling. Cool, man. So I'm just talking about a video that DStyle and Haplotype, they put up. And they were talking about many other things, the weekend fights and so on. The Boxing Empire, shout out to you. This is my second channel, as I've got 2 strikes. It's Tommy Temper. Oh, man. Oh, shout out to you, Tommy. Hope those strikes come off quickly. Boxing Empire, we'll be checking you out. Big up to TBJ. Shout out to you, man. The Boxing Junkie. I love the Boxing Junkie. I'm going to get some tips from you. But continue what I was saying. So, the argument is there's more world champions and there are more weight classes. Here's the thing, which a lot of people are missing. In boxing, it's always been about who you faced and who you beat, right? It's always been about that. Secondly, it's always been that if I beat people in the WBC and I beat people in the WBA, which are 2 belts that are there since 1922, they weren't called WBC and WBA. They were called the New York State Athletic Commission belt, and they were called the National Boxing Association belt, right? Respectively. But nonetheless, they've been around forever. If you beat people in the WBC and you beat people in the WBA, it's equivalent to what those guys back in the day was doing. Furthermore, Manny Pacquiao was a flyweight world champion. Remember, back in the day, there was about 8 weight classes. It was flyweight, featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, like heavyweight, and heavyweight. Well, guess what? Manny Pacquiao got 4 of those 8 original titles. He's been a flyweight world champion, WBC. He's been a featherweight world champion. He's been a lightweight world champion, WBC. He's been a welterweight world champion. He won his first welterweight title, that is, was a WBO title, okay, against Miguel Cotto, who was one of the top tier welterweights at the time. He wasn't the top. The top was Margarito, and then it was Mosley. But the point is, he was one of the top tier welterweights at the time. It was WBO, though. And then, that's it. Okay? But he has 4 world titles. He has world titles in 4 of the weight classes. But here's the thing. He is now WBA regular super champion, which means he you know, over the course of time, he was the WBO champion multiple times. He's now one of those 2 titles. He took it from Keith Thurman. So maybe you may not consider him for Miguel Cotto, but you definitely have to consider him for Keith Thurman. Meaning, all 4 of the original belts and the original titles out of the 8, he's got 4 of the original belts. Now, how about who he beat? Let's talk about that. At flyweight, he fought the lineal champion and beat him. Let me give you the lineal champion's name. Just 1 second. I'm trying to scroll down here. This phone is a pain in the ass. Give me a minute, right? I'm gonna get there. Okay, I see. Chachai Sasakul was the lineal WBC World Flyweight Champion. Lineal meaning he beat the man who beat the man who beat the man. So he was the man of the division. Manny Pacquiao beat him, knocking him out in the 8th round. Alright? In short, what I'm saying is that Manny Pacman Pacquiao beat the man, the legitimate dude of the division. Cool never became an all-time great or none of that, but that's besides the point. However, Sugar Ray Robinson, when he won his first title, but remember, this is titles we're talking about now. Sugar Ray Robinson only won 2 world divisional titles. Okay, they were welterweight and middleweight. Henry Armstrong only won 3 divisional titles. They were featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight. Okay, Manny Pacquiao is the only one in history to win 4 of the original divisional world titles. Okay, he started at flyweight. He won a featherweight title. He didn't win a bantamweight title. He was too big for bantamweight. He was in super bantamweight, but we count that one. That's like featherweight. So he won a featherweight title. He won a lightweight title. He won a welterweight title. Okay, 4 titles. All right, let's go on. I'm only talking about the original titles, okay? So Cool. I'm gonna scroll down. What the fuck is wrong with this phone? Now after that, hold on a second. Eh? Why is this font so big all of a sudden? Like, Jesus Christ. I don't even know why this is happening. Shit. Okay. I'm gonna try and get to it. Featherweight. Get me to featherweight. Okay. Actually, he never won a featherweight title. He beat the lineal featherweight champion. So actually, he only has 3 world titles. I thought he had 4. He only has 3. Alright? Unless you consider super bantamweight featherweight, and that's not fair. So, he also has 3 world titles. But he did beat the featherweight lineal champion, who was at the time Marco Antonio Barrera, coming off great wins against Kevin Kelly and Prince Nassim Hamed. Okay. So anyway, he beat Marco Antonio Barrera, who was the lineal featherweight champion. He never won a featherweight title, but he beat the lineal featherweight champion, the man of the featherweight division. Okay. And then lightweight. Now at lightweight, he won the lightweight championship against David Diaz. See if I can find it somewhere up here. Now David Diaz was not the best lightweight out there. Juan Diaz was. Okay. And then later Marquez was. Okay. But David Diaz was the WBC lightweight champion. And he had some good wins against good guys. Okay. Wasn't the best lightweight out there, but he was the WBC lightweight champion. Very important to understand. All right, there were better lightweights out there. Juan Diaz was one of them. And then later, Juan Manuel Marquez. But Pacquiao had faced Juan Manuel Marquez twice before. And he got a win over Juan Manuel Marquez. Split decision win in 2008. So, technically, this is very technically, he had faced the future lightweight champion, beat Juan Diaz. All right, technically. But we're not going to go there. The fact is, David Diaz was the WBC world champion. That's the important thing. WBC, WBA. We're going to stick with that. All right. His welterweight championship, like I said before, he won it against Miguel Cotto, but we could always use Manny Pacquiao. All right? Not Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman was WBA world champion. So he had all the WBC and WBA world championship titles. All right? It was in 3 divisions, not 4. Sorry, my bad. However, the fourth guy, was the lineal world champion. And the only reason why he didn't have the WBC world title was because he was stripped. Original time, but it's not written down so in history. Like Floyd with Sugar Shane Mosley. He really fought the WBA champion and was the #1 welterweight in the world at the time. But we're not going to talk about that. All right, so getting back to what we were talking about. So Manny Pacquiao, that argument that DStyle was putting about there being more belts is not very relevant. What you really want to know is who's the man of the division, who is the best in the division. And basically, Manny Pacquiao faced the best in the division a number of times. Cha-Cha Sasakul was one. Two was Marco Antonio Barrera at featherweight. At lightweight, he did not face the best in the division, but you can argue he did because he faced Juan Manuel Marquez, even though that was before and after. Technically, Juan Manuel Marquez became the best in the division, but he didn't really face the best in the division. But he faced one of the best in the division, which was David Diaz. All right? Then at welterweight, he fought one of the best in the division, Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto had been dethroned by Antonio Margarito. So Miguel Cotto was number 2 in the division, and Antonio Margarito was number 1 when he faced him. So, but Miguel Cotto was a name, but that's besides the point. He wasn't the best in the division. Keith Thurman is one of the best in the division as well. He's one of the best in the division at welterweight. He was considered the best in the division in 2015. But at the time Manny Pacquiao faced him, he was one of the best in the division, and they're still trying to resolve that issue, right? So Pacquiao will have to beat Errol Spence, and he'll have to beat Terrence Crawford, and he may have to beat Sean Porter. Depending on who wins between Porter and Errol Spence, he'll have to face that guy, and then he may have to face Terrence Crawford to be called the number 1 welterweight in the division, in which case he would have taken it, right? And it's a lot more hard work today to actually become number 1 in the division because there are more belts, because there are more world champions, to consolidate it and become undisputed. So that actually it's harder today to become number 1 than it is of yesteryear. Yesteryear, you fought one guy. If you beat him, great. In this age, you have to fight multiple guys to get to the top of the ladder to be called that guy. And then you have to defend multiple belts against multiple people to be considered the guy. All right? So it's totally different. It's actually harder today to do that than it is of yesteryear. So they're saying, so DStyle was arguing that there's more world champions, there's more divisions. But if you look at it, the core divisions, Manny Pacquiao matches the greatest guys of all time, which would be Henry Armstrong, who was a 3-divisional world champion. Okay? He matches them. So that's point number 1 about the greatest. 2, he has fought. Let's talk about who Manny Pacquiao has fought, who Manny Pacquiao has beat. This is very important. All right? Because they talk about Manny Pacquiao being very small and all of that. And this is the point in which we see the greatness of Manny Pacquiao or not. Now, let me make it abundantly clear, because a lot of people are going to say a lot of things, but I just want to get to the point first before I get into anything else. My major point is this: you're not going to see a whole bunch of Hall of Famers and all-time greats at this point in time when we talk about Manny Pacquiao and certain guys. The reason being, a fighter has to retire first. Their career has to be over before they can go into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Yeah, I think it's 5 to 10 years before you enter into the Boxing Hall of Fame. So, it's a little premature, first of all, for us to be calling him the greatest. We have to wait 5 to 10 years to be able to see that. But more importantly, what we can look at is the fighter, their reputation during this era. And when Pacquiao faced them, what was their reputation? So that's the way how we can determine the best that Manny Pacquiao may have faced, and then compare that to, say, a Sugar Ray Robinson. We're going to look at Sugar Ray Robinson. Hell of a fighter, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of things they're exaggerating about him that I don't like. And the thing about it is, very few of these guys who are talking about Sugar Ray Robinson have actually watched his fights in an unbiased sort of way. Because they've heard so much things from the old-timers that they really believe Sugar Ray Robinson is that and a bag of chips, and he's really not all of that. You know, he is good. Don't get me wrong. He's great. He's great. What I mean is, he's not what these old-timers may hype him up to be compared to the guys today. All right? Because people are looking at Sugar Ray Robinson through the lens of fighters today. And they're not looking at him through the lens of his time and his era, which is what the old-timers are seeing him as. And they got this sensation, this nostalgia about him, and they can't let it go, so they think he's better than the fighters of today. And you have actually seen him fight. I've seen him fight. He's a fast motherfucker. Throw a lot of body shots, lots of hooks, you know, straight shots too. Footwork not too bad. Can be pretty good. You know, he can dance around the ring a little bit. You know, he does this little jib. He does this little jig before he jabs, settles down and jabs and all of that. Kind of like what Shane Mosley does and so on. So there's a lot of things to Sugar Ray Robinson. Good science to it. You know, textbook jab and all of that. But what I want to talk to people about though with Sugar Ray Robinson, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you who are in boxing would have been fans of Sugar Ray Robinson after you've seen him. And there's a lot you can learn from him. But what I'm saying to you is, we're going to look at Sugar Ray Robinson and the people. Now remember, they're going to call a lot of these guys all-time greats. They're going to call them all sure Hall of Famers and stuff. Some of them don't deserve to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Some of them do deserve to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame. But it is what it is, okay? Let's get down to it. Now, note, this is a very important point I want to make. And I'm going to address all you guys in the comment section. Very important for me to make this point. One, when I talk about the greatest, I am not strictly talking about boxing. Even though we're going to talk a lot about boxing, it's also the public's perception of a fighter. Okay? And how entertaining that fighter was, etc., etc., etc. When I talk about the best, and I talk about the best ever, I'm strictly talking about boxing. All right? So when I say Floyd is a better fighter than, say, Sugar Ray Leonard or Manny Pacquiao or, you know, Sugar Shane Mosley, or I say Sugar Ray Robinson, or any other of those other names, I'm talking strictly on the point of boxing, especially strictly on the sweet science of hit and not get hit. And there are very few fighters, in my opinion, that Floyd would give Floyd problems in a boxing ring because of that sweet science that he has mastered. Okay? So that, oh my God, the comment section is lit up. So let's get to it. We got some real people up in here. So now I don't want people to think that Manny Pacquiao is the goods, and he's greater than every single thing. And I don't go into that kind of crap. I'm a guy that deals with facts. So you can see me pull from BoxRec. You're going to see me pull from his actual fights. I'm going to break down why there's an argument for him being the greatest, but you can't call him the greatest because Muhammad Ali already took that title. You can't write off of Muhammad Ali's legacy, and that's already painted. So he could call himself the people's champ or the greatest people's champ or something. You got to find a moniker of some kind. But he definitely can't take the greatest titles. That's Muhammad Ali's title, and that's what it is. Okay? So let's get to it. All right. The Boxing Junkie says, let me add, I find Manny for Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran was a hell of a fighter, but Roberto Duran couldn't handle boxers. Real good boxers. And I was just actually watching Roberto Duran versus Sugar Ray Leonard 2, where he quit because he realized Sugar Ray Leonard was just befuddling his ass. He was trying to get a, he just couldn't figure out Sugar Ray Leonard. And Sugar Leonard was just boxing the socks off of him. And Sugar Ray Leonard, just for people who know history, Sugar Ray Leonard was not the first to beat Manny Pacquiao in a boxing match. Do you guys know who was the first person to beat, not Manny Pacquiao, Roberto Duran? Who was the first person to beat Roberto Duran but was robbed? Does anybody know? And no, it is not De Jesus. That's a little bit of boxing history for you guys. I'm a big fan of the boxer, actually, that did that. And Sugar Ray Leonard was actually borrowing from him. TBE, I see you, player. Yeah, Floyd called himself, well, he was called TBE as he was coming up by people around him. And Emmanuel Sword said he might be the best ever and so on. And then Floyd took on that moniker. Now, he's taken that moniker and he has monetized it. And Pacquiao can do the same. You know, he can create a moniker and monetize it. And I think he should, because his last performance is deserving of that. But we won't get into that, because I think a lot of people... So let's get back to what DStyle was saying. But first, let me just see what you guys were saying, because I like talking boxing with you guys. You guys are very knowledgeable on boxing and stuff. So we're going to get to it. But again, TBE only in terms of boxing, in my opinion. I know people talk about his money outside the ring, how much money he raised and stuff, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking strictly boxing. Okay. The Boxing Junkie says, damn, I wanted to know that. And then the Boxing Junkie says, and Cotto, shit. And Cotto, a lesser, would have had to retire. Boxing Empire says, is Manny Pacquiao top 3 pound for pound? At this point in time, I have him number 1 pound for pound in the world. He just passed Canelo. Because, okay, this is the reason. You can't ignore a boxer's history, right? You can't ignore, in pound for pound, yes, what in boxing is what you do for me lately. But Manny Pacquiao got the best resume right now currently in boxing, period. Nobody got a better resume than him. Remember, Manny Pacquiao, listen, this is the fucking crazy thing we're talking about with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao been through 3 eras. Three eras. I don't want to curse. 3 eras. Right? He started boxing in 1995. So, Manny Pacquiao been through the Oscar De La Hoya era, like Floyd. Then he was into the Mayweather era. And then he spilled over now. He's spilling over into the Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter era. He's been through 3 eras. And the thing about it is he's top tier. He's been top tier through every single era. Do you understand? That is very difficult to do. There are very few boxers that ever have done that. The only guy I can think of that did that was Bernard Hopkins right now off the top of my head. George Foreman came back. He left and came. George Foreman came through 2 eras, right? 2 eras. Bernard Hopkins, he went through 3 eras, right? As well. But Pacquiao, Manny Pacquiao, has been at the top for 3. This is his 3rd era, and he's facing the best of his era. You know, Bernard Hopkins, he was facing some good fighters and stuff, but was it the best of his era? You know what I'm saying? When he did face one that was the best of his era with Sergey Kovalev, you know, he got beat, right? I mean, he did beat Jean Pascal, you know, which is a good, you know, he was an all right fighter, you know what I'm saying? But my point being, you know, Pacquiao's taking on greatness on a whole other level. He faced Keith Thurman, and I don't care what nobody say. Keith Thurman is he was the best welterweight out there, right? It was Kell Brook, and then it was Keith Thurman after Errol Spence beat Kell Brook. Now it's Errol Spence, I think it is, and Terrence Crawford. They're vying for the number 1 spot right now, right? But Keith Thurman's in the mix. He beat Keith Thurman. All right, and Keith Thurman hurt him pretty bad too. You know, Keith Thurman was bad. You know, after he figured out Pacquiao, he started coming at him. So I'm just saying, I didn't see. I mean, this is the other point. Nobody expected him to. Well, I didn't expect him, with my boxing knowledge, to beat Keith Thurman. I didn't expect that at all. You know, so I mean, that alone shows you just how great that guy is. Okay, but getting back to the DStyle stuff, because DStyle is, I mess with DStyle. DStyle is cool. You know, he brings some great points, but I'm going to show you why he hasn't factored in certain things. And my arguments to him right now is not in a negative sense of way, because I understand what DStyle is saying. I'm just saying that you got to give respect where respect is due. You know, with this guy Manny Pacquiao now, because now his whole career is behind him. He is pound for pound number 1 in the world again. Canelo was number 1. Now it's him. It's not Terrence Crawford. It's not Errol Spence. They don't have the resume. They just don't have the resume. You understand what I'm saying? This man has the resume. You see what I'm saying? He's like a fossil right now. He's like an old dinosaur roaming among these young, evolved animals. He a fossil. And he done something greater than George Foreman, because he's beaten a hell of a lot of people. Pacquiao has never taken a year off. He has fought every single fucking year since 1995. Man, this is crazy. And he started, Bernard Hopkins started late in life. Pacquiao started early in life. Y'all understand? This ninja 40, this is totally different. Pacquiao's been in boxing now for 24 years. 24 fucking years. 24 years. Shit. Been in the pros since he was 16, I think it was. Wait, 1995, yeah, to 2019, 24 years. Yep, 24 years. That's more than that matches Floyd, I think, or Floyd. I think Floyd was what 22 years. Yeah, shit, that's crazy. And the fighting style he utilizes, it makes it even more remarkable. All right, so we talked about, okay, you want to do the original weight classes where Pacquiao has beaten the he has beaten world champions in 4 of those original weight classes. So maybe he doesn't have world titles in the 4 original weight classes, but he has faced the WBC or WBA champion in 4 of those weight classes. All right? That's more than Henry Armstrong. All right, let's get back to the topic at hand. He said there are more world champions out there. I said, okay, forget all of that. Let's just look at who Manny Pacquiao fought, who he beat. Okay? Let's look at that, because it always comes down to that. So we already talked about at flyweight, Chachai Sasakul, who was the dude. He beat him. Let's move up. I'm going to leave out some people because, Leo Ledwaba, he was a good little champion. He was IBF Super Bantamweight champion of the world. I'm going to leave him out. I'm going to pull style on people. I'm going to start a stunt on people because, we're going to talk about the real names. You know what I'm saying? People with experience who really fought people. Leo Ledwaba didn't fight nobody. However, he had a draw and he faced Agapito Sanchez. I want to show you. Pacquiao didn't have this kind of experience. Agapito Sanchez had a lot of experience. Agapito Sanchez, who I believe was the WBO world champion. All right, I went through this before, but still I'm going to go through it again. He was a southpaw himself. He faced Juan Guzman. You know Juan Guzman, the Dominican guy. All right. He also faced. That was right after Manny Pacquiao. He also faced. He faced Freddie Norwood, Cesar Soto, Juan Manuel Marquez. All of this he faced before he facing Pacquiao. Marco Antonio Barrera. So this is a very experienced fighter that Pacquiao was facing for the first time. He's facing a very experienced fighter since Chachai Sasakul. Okay? And Pacquiao got a draw. He was actually beating the guy, but he started to he said, "Fuck that! I ain't going out like that." And he started low blowing him and doing all kinds of shit. And eventually, he cut Pacquiao on both sides of his head, and because of that, he stopped the fight. Okay, you got to mention Agapito Sanchez, who was also a world champion. All right, and this was at super bantamweight. All right, let me give you another one. You got to mention. These are names. Of course, Marco Antonio Barrera. That's 3 names so far. Let's keep it moving. Juan Manuel Marquez. He had a draw with him too in the first fight. Of course, he would go on to have a quaternary 4 fights with Marquez, right? That makes how many? 4. That's also super. I think that's super featherweight or featherweight. I think featherweight, super featherweight. Eric Morales. That's 5. And some of these guys are Hall of Famers already. All right. He rematched he rematched Marco Antonio Barrera and Marquez. David Diaz. I'm gonna actually skip David Diaz, even though David Diaz had some good wins under his belt as well. Should I skip David Diaz? Nah, I'm not gonna skip David Diaz. I'm gonna skip David Diaz. He was a good little fighter. Let's look at the people David Diaz beat. He beat Eric Morales. That's how you actually won the WBC lightweight title. So he fought Kendall Holt, but he lost to Kendall Holt. Kendall Holt knocked his ass out. He beat Ener Ulio, who became the super lightweight world champion. He faced Emmanuel Augustus. That was always a great challenge. He was a name. More on the weak side, but he was a name, right? So David Diaz. Pacquiao destroyed him. Right? That's 6. Oscar De La Hoya, that's 7. Ricky Hatton, that's 8. Miga Cotto, that's 9. Joshua Clottey, that's 10. Antonio Margarito, that's 11. Shane Mosley, that's 12. Timothy Bradley, that's 13. I don't even have to tell y'all guys why, right? Floyd Mayweather, that's 14. Jesse Vargas, that's 15. I gotta mention Jeff Horn because he upset him. But really, Jeff Horn ain't all that. But anyway, Jeff Horn, that's 17. Lucas Matisse, that's 18. Adrian Broner, that's 19. Keith Thurman, that's 20. All right, and some of these guys are going to be Hall of Famers. 20. They're not world champions necessarily, but they got reputation. Like you look at their resume, you look at what they did and what they accomplished, you have to mention. Now, I have people putting down Adrian Broner, but Adrian Broner is a hell of a fucking fighter, especially at the lower weight classes. So you have to mention Adrian Broner. All right? Now, why am I talking about all of this? 20 names is astonishing. Now, he didn't beat all of them, but who he fought, these guys have reputation, right? He fought much more world champions than those names I mentioned. He didn't beat all of them. But the point is, that's a hell of a lot of fucking names. And the point about it is, he's been fighting these guys back to back mostly. Back to fucking back. Not like how Sugar Ray Robinson and all those guys would have a stay busy fight in between. It was world champion, it was an easy fight. No, there was tough fights all the way through. All right? When you consider the other weight classes, such as super welterweight and junior welterweight and all these other in-between weight classes, it comes up to 6 world titles he had in 6 divisions. However, he did beat 2 lineal champions in the other 2 divisions. So it's 8. He has 8 titles, divisional titles. I wouldn't say world, but 8 divisional titles with respectable competition. All right? Now, who he faced and who he beat. Let's look at Sugar Ray Robinson for a minute. We're going to first start off because they put him at the top of the list for reasons unknown to me. Yeah, he was the father of pound for pound, but that doesn't mean that he's automatically at the top. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't automatically mean he's at the top indefinitely. And that's the thing I don't understand. I don't understand giving respect, but we're going to use Sugar Ray Robinson. We're not going to talk about Harry Crabb because I never seen Harry Crabb fight. We're not going to talk about Joe Gans because I never saw Joe Gans fight. So I don't even know how people can rate them. You're rating them based on somebody else telling you that, which is fucking stupid. Boxing's not about who told you something. It's you use your eyes and you watch a fight in a ring and you determine for yourself. You don't listen to what people say. That's called gossip and rumor. I don't give a fuck about it. All right. So yeah, I have Manny Pacquiao's top pound for pound in the world right now. The Boxing Junkie says, yes, on my list. The Boxing Junkie says, what does it make Floyd? The Boxing Empire says it makes Floyd a runner. He running to the bank, baby. Cashing them checks. The Boxing Junkie says that Magachito was as big as a light heavy. That's true. He was a big boy. He wasn't light heavy. I think he was 160 something. He and Mosley and Cotto were big welterweights. But for real, it's funny. I throw jabs at Floyd, but I can make an argument that he can beat any all-time great at his best in his best night. Yeah, Floyd could beat just about anybody. I think. In history, unless you show me somebody. Well, no, they're gonna be some guys that are gonna beat him. They're gonna beat him, but I think he gets the advantage over them most of the time. But there's some guys that would beat him. I don't think he beat everybody all the time. Definitely, Pernell Whitaker would have beaten him at least once or twice. Guys like that, guys who are hard to hit. It would give him some trouble. I can see Nicolino Loche giving him some trouble. Those kind of guys. The boxing junkie says, yes, it would be boring. I don't find Floyd's fights boring, to be honest with you. You know, I don't find his fights boring at all. That's the thing. You know, I like the sweet science. There are guys who are boring, but the boxing junkie, he looked like he got jumped with the razor. Who was that? Boxing junkie says, DStyle needs to stick to wrestling. I don't mean that disrespect. No. DStyle knows his boxing. DStyle knows. I agree with a lot of things DStyle says, by the way. I agree with DStyle a lot. Okay? He a cool dude. Don't get me wrong. I just think that his point of view on boxing, especially when it comes to the old time greats, and you look at the modern boxers today, I think people are not factoring in certain things. Teddy Atlas is of the same mindset as DStyle, and a number of boxing librarians, boxing historians, some of the guys on here who discovered Sam Langford and those kinds of guys. You know, Bert Sugar, they would say, oh yeah, those guys back then were better. Obviously, this is the truth. People are biased towards their era, or towards eras that they've studied or researched. It's just what it is. But when the dust is settled and we start to really balance off things and think about things a little bit more, then we begin to realize, okay, maybe I was overshooting a little bit. Maybe I was exaggerating a little bit. You know, of course, I'm making an argument for the guys today. So I may have a bias towards that. The boxing junkie says you can hold your own on here. Respect, brother. Yeah, man. We're gonna shoot our Sugar Ray Robinson stuff. And again, I'm never going to disrespect Sugar Ray Robinson. He was a hell of a fighter. The best in his era. Inspired pound for pound. Was, you know, all-around boxer and all of that, right? I'm not disrespecting Sugar Ray Robinson. He's dead. God, you know, may he rest in peace. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people are afraid to say that, you know, he may have been great for his time, but I think there are better boxers today than he was. And that's the thing that a lot of people are afraid to say, because it goes against, you know, the traditional point of view. And I got a lot of flack on here for that, and I think Boxing Librarian tried to attack me because of that. But honestly speaking, you know, Boxing Librarian talk about Harry Crab, right? But here's the funny thing. Gene Tunney whooped his ass, like beat him bad. He was begging Gene Tunney not to knock him out, right? He beat Gene Tunney once. And this motherfucker making it sound like, you know, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then they come back and they do the same thing with Sam Langford and Harry Wills. Harry Wills been whooping Sam Langford's ass. This one time, Harry Wills was going in for the kill. Sam Langford was caught him and knocked him out, you know. And because of that, Sam Langford was the greatest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Harry Wills be whooping his ass, man. That's the thing I just don't get. You know what I'm saying? And I just be looking at these people like, okay, cool, that's dope and everything, but like, you know, you guys need to put this thing in perspective, though. I mean, Langford did fight all the way up to heavyweight, which was dope. Don't get me wrong, but all right. Let's keep it going, though. Although I retract that he has done some classic boxing talk that I respect. Yeah, man, DStyle is cool. I like his balanced talk. I like how he factors in things that I didn't think about. And so I like to go to his channel and mess with him because he really does, you know, put together some good stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I like DStyle. I'm just gonna argue with him on this. So this is the rebuttal. That's all. I don't go for that. Thank you. Boxing evolves. Absolutely. Hey, by the way, do you know that the guy who was fighting on the undercard of Teofimo Lopez, he died. Yeah, he died. Oh shit! I accidentally deleted a conversation Boxing Junkie said, but I'm still gonna put it up there. Man, they will verbally bring it for that. Oh shit! Come on, motherfucker. They will verbally bring it for that, and it's like, how? Yeah, they really came in thick on me, man. They was trying to attack me, and all I said was boxing evolves. That's all I said. I wasn't wrong. G Funky 84 says AB doesn't train like an elite fighter. Oh yeah, he trains like an elite fighter, man. The thing with AB is this, all right? AB is a guy who tells a lot of jokes, so a lot of people don't really take AB seriously. And then when he talks a lot of talk, he talks a lot of trash talk, he don't back it up. people feel that AB not really serious about boxing, but he is serious. The thing about him is he jokes so much that you can't really tell. You can't really take him seriously. You know what I mean? Defensively, he's on point. It's just offensively, he needs to get his offensive output a little bit higher up. He's a good fighter, man. He's not top tier, you know, but he's a good fighter. He better fighter than me. Tommy Temper says, is that your washing machine? No, that's a guy doing some work there outside on the house. That's making a lot of noise. That's a brush cutter. No, that's not a washing machine. Making a lot of noise. Hey, man. G-Funky, I disagree. The proof is in the pudding. Look, G-Funky 84. You think you could whoop Broner's ass? You really think you could beat Broner? I can't beat Broner. That's one. Two, that motherfucker got real boxing knowledge. He knows a lot of shit. Okay? And he can fight very, very well. Defensively, he's pretty good. The problem with him is that he's a fighter that actually, all through his career, he was always a slow starter, and he built up his offense after he assessed you defensively. Then he started to put the heat on you, and that's been Broner all along. You know, Floyd's different, but that's been Broner. So I feel like Broner's style, people are figuring out Broner, and if they could out hustle him, they know they can beat him. You know, he picks it up later on, but by the time he pick it back up, you done already won the fight because it's a race. So that's what Marcos Maidana did to him, and a lot of fighters now kind of figured out Broner like that. So Pacquiao, he started really fast, and Broner he tried to pick up the pace. He never got a chance to pick up the pace against Pacquiao, and you see why. You saw what he did to Keith Thurman. Alton Adami, good evening, brother. It's night where I come from. Haha. Why do you think Floyd never lost? And do you think there will be someone like him again? I'm pretty sure there'll be somebody, not like Floyd, but somebody who will supersede him for sure. As to Floyd never losing, Keith Thurman kind of explained it. He was a guy that, kind of like Pernell Whitaker, he was a guy that he would beat you so comprehensively that the judges had no choice but to give the decision to him. You know, the only two close fights Floyd ever had in his career, well, three if you include the official scorecards of Oscar De La Hoya, and they are Jose Luis Castillo, Oscar De La Hoya, and Marcos Maidana. You know, those are the three fights. And the reason why Floyd won all three fights, the first one, he did a Pacquiao what Pacquiao did to Thurman, he did to Jose Luis Castillo. Castillo was the bigger guy, the stronger guy, but Floyd got out to a flying start. So he had like 4 rounds in the bag while Castillo was still trying to play catch up. When Castillo got hot later on in the fight, it was too late. Floyd already won the fight. With Marcos Maidana, that was a great fight. Floyd kind of took control in the third. By the fourth, he got headbutt, and he lost track for a minute. He caught back. He got back on track in the 6th round. Took the 5th round off, and he went from 6 all the way up to the end. He was just beating Maidana. Maidana was trying everything just to survive. So, but it was a great fight, though. It was a great fight. But Floyd is a guy, like Keith Thurman said, he's like the greatest 7-round winning champion. He knows he got to get 7 rounds in the bag. He going to get them 7 rounds in the bag, you know, to get the win. And he's going to make them clear rounds. You have no doubt in your mind Floyd won those rounds. So that was the kind of boxer he was. Which is, let me tell you, it's harder to go the distance in all these different fights. It's harder to do that than to stop people, because it's easier work to stop somebody. But Floyd learned very, very early in his career that he couldn't just rely on his power. Like Keith Thurman has learned that lesson against Pacquiao. G-Funky84 says, I'm not a boxer pro. Come on. Alton Adeni says, I see. I guess so. Manny Pacquiao took Thurman's punches and didn't fall. Was he on juice? Nah, Pacquiao wasn't on any juice. In fact, if you look at his face, it was puffy. If he was on the juice, his face wouldn't look that puffy. 1. 2, I was worried that Pacquiao may have suffered some brain damage from those blows because Keith Thurman was hitting him hard. But I think Pacquiao could see the punches coming. If you can't see the punches that hurt you the most and put you down is the punches you don't see, right? And Keith Thurman didn't see that hook coming. That's what put him down. Yeah. Thurman decided to go punch for punch, war for war. He just said, I'm coming straight at your ass, and that didn't work out to him. He kind of backfired. Yeah. But getting back to what we were talking about. So Sugar Ray Robinson. Let's look at Sugar Ray Robinson's career. He had some. You know, the interesting thing about Sugar Ray Robinson was he fought a lot of great fighters and Hall of Famers before he even became world champion. It took him 40 fights before he was allowed to become world champion. So let's get into Sugar Ray Robinson, since we're going to compare him to Manny Pacquiao. We're only talking in terms of greatness. We're not talking in terms of pound for pound. We're not talking in terms of best fighter. None of that shit. Okay, we're just talking about greatness. By the way, Pacquiao was a southpaw, so just bear that in mind. So with Sugar Ray Robinson's career, let's first talk about the world champions he beat. All right, his first championship fight was not against the best or the lineal champion at welterweight. It was against another guy called Tommy Bell, who he had beaten a number of times. So it's kind of funny because he had beaten this guy a number of times, so he just beat him again, right? Fuck, man, where is it? It's his 40th fight. The fuck? Oh, I gotta go to another page. Box records are such an ass. Alright, there you go. So he faced Tommy Bell, who he had beaten twice, I think, before. And he became the NBA World Welterweight Champion. So Sugar Ray Robinson, ladies and gentlemen, did not face the best welterweight out there or the lineal champion to become world champion. Whereas Manny Pacquiao at flyweight did that. He at least faced one of the top guys. I mean, Tommy Bell was one of the top guys, I'm assuming. That's why he faced Tommy Bell. But we don't hear about Tommy Bell other than that. And let me just show you what Tommy Bell's accomplishments were in terms of his boxing. I'm going to tell you the names and the day. So, Tommy Bell was an alright boxer, don't get me wrong. Alright, let me scroll back. So, Tommy Bell, he lost to, I have to talk about what he lost to because they're few and far between. California Jackie Wilson was a good fighter. He lost to him. He lost to Kid Gavilan. He lost to Steve Bellois. He had a win against California Jackie Wilson earlier on in his career. Of course, he lost to Sugar Ray Robinson multiple times. He had 2 wins against California Jackie Wilson, actually. He lost to Jake LaMotta. He lost to Jimmy Doyle. All these were good fighters of the day. He had a win against Fritzy Zivik, who was once a world champion, and Maxie Berger, but these guys were old guys at the time, I guess. So did Sugar Ray Robinson, by the way. Sugar Ray Robinson, by the way, his real name was Walker Smith, Jr. You know? So he lost to all those guys, okay? His main thing was he beat California Jackie Wilson and Maxie Berger and Fritzy Zivik, but them guys was old. Okay? That's his claim to fame. But Tommy Bell wasn't a guy that, like, you know, was beating people or anything special, right? So I'm just showing you Sugar Ray Robinson, which you guys praise so much. Sugar Ray Robinson, his first world championship title was not against a lineal champion like Manny Pacquiao. He didn't fight the best. He didn't fight the best. Pacquiao fought the best. Let me say that again. He didn't fight the best. The best didn't want to fight him. That's the truth. But he didn't fight the best. And the guy who avoided his ass was, I'm going to tell you who the guy's name was. He actually Sugar Ray Robinson faced him once before. I don't think it was Sammy Angut, was it? Now, before he became world champion, I think it was Marty Servo. Because he beat, these are the other people he beat, which were good fighters. Sammy Angut, Marty Servo, Fritzy Ziffick, Maxie Berger, all right, Jake LaMotta, California Jackie Wilson, Henry Armstrong was the old guy. I think that's about it. And of course, Tommy Bell. All right. Those were the good guys. So he fought those guys. And we'll get into more detail on this later, but yeah. And he always campaigned at middleweight, so he was fighting middleweights at a certain point in time. All right. Anyways, he becomes world champion. Okay. He becomes world champion. Okay, but he becomes world champion. He doesn't face the best. So why is it that DStyle is talking about, oh, well, there are more world champions, so that would mean that because there were more world champions, that means that, saying that you had these titles it doesn't mean nothing. Well, it means something when you're facing the best or the very best, close to the best. It does mean something. Because Sugar Ray Robinson didn't face the best of his day, at least in welterweight. He faced one that was close to being the best. So that's equal to, say, a Pacquiao versus Miguel Cotto or Pacquiao versus David Diaz. So this is where I'm arguing my point that DStyle is wrong in that regard. I wonder if I'm streaming still. Am I streaming? Yeah, I think I'm streaming still. Okay, we're keeping it moving. Okay, so my point already is made because Sugar Ray Robinson, he didn't fight for a belt that was actually occupied. He fought for vacant belts. Floyd Mayweather fought the best super featherweight out there, which was Gennaro El Chiquino, Chiconito, shit, I just blanked out right there. Wow, that's incredible. He faced Gennaro Hernandez, who was the best super featherweight in the world at the time. Right? Pernell Whitaker faced Ramirez. He lost, but he faced Ramirez, who was the best lightweight in the world at the time. See what I'm saying? He fight for no vacant title. But you're saying Sugar Ray Robinson is a greater fighter than Manny Pacquiao. Really? Now, he did fight some great fighters before he even got a title shot. He did. One of them was the world champion eventually later on. But he didn't, when he was fighting for the championship, fight the man of the division. He didn't. The man of the division didn't want to fight him. But Pacquiao fought the man of the division. So what does that mean? Does it mean that because there are more belts, that means that they are not high quality people? And that the best is not there? What does it mean? DStyle. Who they fought, who they beat. But we one more. Sugar Ray Robinson said one more. I'm not going to do Henry Armstrong. Unfortunately, I can't. But I'm going to just go through with Sugar Ray Robinson, right? Won the middleweight championship. If I'm not mistaken, he won it against Jake LaMotta, who he had faced multiple times before and beaten multiple times before. Okay? It's taking me a little while to get there. Sorry about that. Why the hell am I reaching Gene Fulmer? Where the fuck is Jake LaMotta, man? Oh, 1949. The fuck is going on? I don't know. Why am I at Randy Turpin? Why is this not showing the titles and shit? The fuck is going on, man? Oh shit, it logged me out. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay, so it was Jake LaMotta who he fought. Now before that, he had a sort of regional title. He won against Bobo Olson. All right, but Jake LaMotta's a guy he beat multiple times. So it's like a guy you already beat a number of times and you beat him again. But they make a big hoopla about that. So, oh, he beat Jake LaMotta and blah, 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 blah. Manny Pacquiao, on the other hand, fought Marco Antonio Barrera the first time and beat him. Fought David Diaz the first time and beat him. Juan Manuel Marquez the first time and he had a draw. Then beat him the second fight. Okay? Manny Pacquiao fought Oscar De La Hoya, beat him. Miguel Cotto, beat him. Floyd Mayweather and lost. Keith Thurman and beat him. You know what I'm saying? Close fight though. So what I'm showing you is Jake LaMotta was one of the best. Well, he was the best at middleweight at the time. All right, because Sugar Ray Robinson wasn't at middleweight. He was dominating, and he would continue to. Are you guys seeing me? Okay. He would continue to fight him, and he would continue to fight him, and eventually, not him. He would continue to fight at middleweight, and he would be defending his title against guys like Randolph Turpin, who beat him. Randy Turpin was nobody special. People say he was, but this is what I'm going to show you. Randy Turpin's resume. He's a guy from England. All right. So before he beat Sugar Ray Robinson, there were no great names he beat. The most known name he beat out of all the guys there was Luke Van Dam. That was it. And this guy outboxed Sugar Ray Robinson to take the title. Sugar Ray Robinson would face him again, be outboxed until he was able to catch up to him and knock him out. All right? This is the guy that upset him, Randolph Turpin. It's kind of like the Jeff Horn of Manny Pacquiao's career. So you got to put Randolph Turpin up there. He would then take the title back, and then he would defend it against Bobo Olson, who was once a world champion, one of the better middleweights. Rocky Graciano. Then he jumped up to light heavyweight and faced Joey Maxim. Now, Joey Maxim was not the best reigning light heavyweight champion, and he was able to beat Sugar Ray Robinson. Oh fuck, my internet dropped. Is it gone? No, I'm still good. All right, we're back. Okay. Okay. So anyway, we're back. So Joey Maxson beat him. And then he went on to... That's the two weight classes, but he would lose to Ralph Tiger Jones, and then he would face Bobo Olson, who was the middleweight champion. He would beat him twice. This is a guy he always beat. He would face Gene Fullmer. Gene Fullmer would whoop his ass because he had not faced Gene Fullmer before. He would come back to knock out Gene Fullmer in the 5th, but then then after that he would face Carmen Basilio, who would beat him. Then he would beat back Carmen Basilio. Then he would face Paul Pender, lose to him. Face Paul Pender again, lose to him. Face Gene Fullmer, get a draw, and face Gene Fullmer and lose to him. And that's basically it for championship fights. Now, the guys he faced in his career, which are worth noting, though he had multiple fights with guys he was beating all the time. Joey Archer was one of them at the end of his career. He was 40-something years old. Joey Archer, who beat him. Another good fighter was Joey Giardello, who beat him as well. That's 2. Denny Moyer, that's 3. Gene Fullmer, that's 4. Carmen Basilio, that's 5. Paul Pender, that's 6. The fuck is this happening, man? Bobo Olson, that's 7. Ralph Tiger Jones, that's 8. Joey Maxson, that's 9. Rocky Graciano, 10. Bobo Olson, Randy Turpin, 11. Holly Mims, 12. Jake LaMotta, 13. Bobby Dykes, 14. Jose Basora, 15. Hold on. Steve Belboss, 16. Kid Gavilan, 17. Henry Brim, 18. Georgie Abrams, 19. Tommy Bell, 20. Sammy Anger, 21. Jose Basora, 22. Henry Armstrong, 23. Let's say Marty Servo, 24. Maxie Berger, 25. Fritzy Zivic, 26. So he faced 26, known great fighters of his time. 26. Okay? Manny Pacquiao, 20. All right? And the thing about it is that when you look at it, it's very comparable. All right? Of course, Manny Pacquiao beat a lot of the other guys. Hey, 20. I think it's only 3 or 4 of them who actually beat him. Eric Morales, Timothy Bradley, Juan Manuel Marquez, and Jeff Horn. All right. So when you look at that, 16 wins. Really great. All right. Now, what I'm trying to show you guys is it's comparable to Sugar Ray Robinson. And again, Pacquiao fought lineal champions, or the actual men of the division. the very best. Now, Sugar Ray Robinson did that with like Bobo Olsen and these guys, but he had faced them before, so he could beat them, and he had beaten them before. Pac is not always that case. Most of the guys he faced for the first time. You know what I'm saying? So that alone gives Pacquiao that contention to being the greatest, which a lot of people are not willing to say, but he's in contention for that. Sugar Ray Robinson might have fought more known guys or guys with names, but Manny Pacquiao faced them in championship level, you know, and then again, he won more titles in more weight classes, faced the best of his era, period. And you know, Sugar Ray Robinson didn't face all the different styles, didn't have to overcome height advantage and reach advantage. He did have guys who outweighed him by a significant amount, like how Margarita probably outweighed Pacquiao. You know, Al Thurman probably is bigger than Pacquiao. Fighting these bigger guys, you know, Henry Armstrong's one of those guys that did that too. So, you know, Pacquiao, his achievements are ridiculous because Sugar Ray Robinson was not able to do what Pacquiao did. Sugar Ray Robinson in his 40s, nobody at the top tier of the division. Pacquiao is doing that today. All right. Anyway, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget also that you need to not only subscribe, but you need to also donate to my channel if you can. And don't forget to smash that like button. You guys have a good one. I'm out. So anyway, the argument was, you know, Sugar Ray Robinson was outweighed by 15 pounds and stuff. Guess what? Floyd was outweighed by 19 pounds against Marcos Maidana. You know, so that excuse about Robinson continuously fighting bigger fighters like Jake LaMotta, etc. Guess what? Guess what? Floyd was doing it, and he was beating those guys. That means that Floyd did it. Pacquiao did fight guys bigger than him in terms of height and reach advantage. Just what it is. He was always a smaller guy. He came up also from lower weight classes. I mean, it was a professional career. So when you look at it, you know, Floyd and the amateurs and Pacquiao and Marquez, they're about the same size. They're not big welterweights. So I just wanted to put that together. Sugar Ray Robinson was a big fucking welterweight. That's just what it was. He grew into that, and he fought middleweights, and he put on size, and he was basically around the same size as middleweights as well. Because people are saying he was small and gay. No, he wasn't. He was slim, but he wasn't small. He had long reach and everything. So anyway, that's my time. You guys have a good one. Peace.